In this video, we're going to look at how to create a password generator in Python. We will start by generating a random password made of 12 characters. We will use the function random.choice that returns a random character from a sequence. So to create our first version of the password generator, first of all import the random module. Then set the password length to 12. Now we will define a list of characters that we will use to generate the random password. In this first version of the program, we will use just a few letters and numbers. Then create an empty string called password. This is the variable where we will store our password. Now write a for loop that executes 12 iterations, and at every iteration selects a random character from the string characters and appends it to the password string. So this for loop is executed 12 times because password length is 12. So as you can see, at every iteration of the for loop, one character is appended to the password string, and that character is selected using random.choice from the character string. And finally, use the print function to print the password we have generated. And here is an example of password generated with this code. As you can see, the password is not strong, considering that we have used a limited set of characters and numbers. Let's have a look at how to make this password more secure. Let's improve the complexity of the password by using all alphanumeric characters. To do that, we could simply update the value of the characters variable to include all letters and numbers. The problem is that, first of all, it would be time-consuming, and second, it would be prone to errors. So what can we do instead? Python provides a module called string. The string module offers a list of constants that we can use in the generation of the password. Here are a few examples. We will not use string.ascii underscore lowercase or string.ascii underscore uppercase, considering that they are both included in string.ascii underscore letters. In our password generator, we will use the following three sets of characters: string.ascii underscore letters, string.digits, and string.punctuation. We will use the plus symbol to concatenate the three sets of characters to create a single string that we will assign to the characters variable. This is what you get if you concatenate the three sets of characters in the Python shell. Let's update our program. Everything else stays unchanged in our program. Let's rerun it. The password generated is a lot better now. It's more complex and strong than the previous one. Let's make our password generator a bit more flexible. We will allow the user to specify the password length instead of hard coding it in our program. To do that, we will use the input function. Notice that we have converted the value returned by the input function into an integer. That's because when using Python 3, the input function returns a string. Let's verify if our program works fine. Here we can provide the length of the password, for example, 8. And as expected, we get back a password. Let's see what happens if we don't convert the output of the input function into an integer. We get back a type error that says that a string object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Let's add back the conversion to integer before continuing. And now it's time to have a look at how to use nested for loops in our program. I want to enhance our password generator to generate a custom number of passwords. So far, we are only generating one password. We are going to read from the user input the number of passwords we want to generate. So first we get the number of passwords using the input function, and then we add a for loop to generate multiple passwords based on the value of the number of passwords provided by the user. So let's define a variable called number of passwords, then add the for loop that will execute a number of iterations equal to number of passwords. Considering that we are using Python, remember to fix the indentation of the inner for loop. Otherwise, you will see syntax errors. Let's execute our code to make sure we can generate multiple passwords. Nice, it works well. Before completing this tutorial, let's have a look at how we can enforce a set of rules to always generate strong passwords. We will make sure passwords contain at least 3 digits and 2 punctuation characters. To do that, we will use two integers that define the number of digits and punctuation characters. Then we will use multiple nested for loops. We will update the third for loop to take into account the fact that we have already added 2 punctuation characters and 3 digits to the password. Let's also add a numeric ID to every password generated. As you can see, the first 3 characters of each password are digits, and the next 2 characters are punctuation characters. The thing is, to make this password stronger, We want to avoid having digits and punctuation characters always in the same position of the password. Otherwise, someone could try to predict the password because it knows that the first 3 characters are digits and the next 2 are punctuation characters. To shuffle characters in the password string, we will use the random.shuffle function. We are actually going to create a specific function that does the shuffling. This function converts the password string into a list before applying random.shuffle. That's because random.shuffle can only be applied to sequences. Then it returns a string using the string join method. Finally, update the last print statement of our program to call the randomize_password function. The passwords are a lot stronger. Now the digits and punctuation characters are in random positions. It was an interesting tutorial. You've learned how to create a password generator, but we've covered quite a lot of Python core concepts. Importing modules, defining functions, using the input function to read user input, nested for loops, selecting random characters from a string and shuffling a string, and using the string format method. Well done for completing this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. And also subscribe to this channel to get more of these videos and to accelerate your learning curve as a Python developer. See you in the next video, and until then, keep coding.